Was the flying saucer on the D&I logo all a bunch of nothing? If so, what can we learn from that? Get in here, this is Cosmic Road, where I discuss UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share in social media, and as I'm going through this, please comment below and let me know what you think. Okay, this is from an article by Chris Mellon. The lesson of the D&I aviation logo. There is a recurring pattern regarding UAP reporting that appeared again recently when a new proposed logo for the Director of National Intelligence Aviation Group, NIM, appeared on the web. Because it had a flying saucer on it, UAP commentators naively made much of it, trying to read non-existent tea leaves. Predictably, speculation proved for naught when it was revealed this was nothing more than a draft prepared by a low-level government employee. Nobody at a senior level had even seen, much less approved, the logo. In fact, the few people at DoD and the IC involved with the UAP issue were as surprised as anyone when this appeared on social media. I see this pattern recur over and over, in which some minor issue emerges and is greatly misconstrued. Take, for example, the recent response to a FOIA request from the Navy indicating that a requested UAP video is classified and therefore cannot be released. This was in fact nothing new. That policy had been in place since around 2019 at least, but the public was not aware, and this did not come through in the press reporting. So immediately all manner of misinformed speculation emerged about what this new development means, when in fact there was nothing new and it was not a change of policy. In another case not too long ago, DIA released documents related to the OSAP program and the UAP, then rejiggered the categorization of the documents to something other than UAP after the press started raising questions and reporting on the hapless DIA handling of the issue. Again, low-level employees doing merely their jobs took actions that came to the attention of the press, forcing mid-level management to engage, but this again had absolutely nothing to do with any high-level UAP policies or actions, just a bit of sloppy bureaucracy. The natural tendency in each case was for UAP observers to think these occurrences were indications of the views of people at the top or part of some coherent plan involving management of the UAP issue. In fact, each of these cases demonstrate the opposite. There is little, if any, coherent management of the UAP issue at high levels. Yeah, okay, I'm going to repeat that. He puts that in italics, and I'm going to repeat it. There is little, if any, coherent management of the UAP issue at high levels. It is only a slight exaggeration to say nobody at high levels of the DoD or the IC has time to even consider the UAP issue. Anyone who doubts Anybody who doubts that is out of touch with the reality of life for senior DoD and IC officials who are urgently fighting fires regarding Ukraine and Taiwan, crashing on responses to requests from Capitol Hill, racing to prepare for White House meetings and major press conferences, and 1,000 other things more urgent than the UAP issue. The only reason anyone at DoD or the IC pays any attention to the UAP issue at all is because Congress is compelling these massive organizations to begin to engage. Always bear in mind that, on a day-to-day basis, the UAP issue is totally irrelevant for senior U.S. officials. As the Secretary of the Air Force recently said, conveying the views of many at DoD, I've got real threats to worry about. In short, the idea that senior officials have time to fuss over trivia like a draft D&I logo is absurd. Those reporting on the UAP issue should know better than to think otherwise. This naivete relates to the most common misconception outsiders have of how DoD and the USG work. There is no central rational mind at work orchestrating the UAP topic or most other issues. The sprawling national security apparatus contains millions of peoples in scores of barely connected organizations. This is only a rational actor model in rare and unusual circumstances. Think instead of a massive feudal monarchy with independent fiefdoms and centers of power, each making independent decisions, vying with one another for access, influence, and resources. The SecDef's span of control over some 40 agencies and the services and commands is overwhelming, and only the most salient issues are reconciled at the top. That does not include logos or how to handle individual FOIA requests or display DIA documents. So, very interesting point from Chris that there is no central theme to the government's response regarding UAPs/UFOs. Now, this is something that we've seen time and time again. We've seen some people that seem to be allies of Chris Mellon and Lou Elizondo, etc. Some people that seem to be enemies. Some people that are just clueless clods. Some people that are just preaching the narrative that they're given. So yeah, there doesn't seem to be any coherent thread or theme or message that somebody or organization or entity in particular is trying to convey. There's just a bunch of random scattered nonsense, or not nonsense, because there are definitely factions that do have a point, that are pro-Lou or anti-Lou, or, maybe they're in the employ of the breakaway civilization or whatever. But a lot of it is just clueless bureaucracy, and they've got other things to do. They've got better things to do with their time. They're actually doing their day-to-day jobs and not worrying about this overall situation that impacts everybody and has forever. But I understand they're doing their jobs, and you can't fault them for doing what they're getting paid to do. We can only hope they are doing what they're getting paid to do. But as Lou's Inspector General investigation, exemplifies, there are people working against him. And in fact, is it more than one Inspector General investigation that he has going? So, anyway, there are definitely factions involved. I would be surprised if the breakaway group or the oversight group does not have some, muscle with these guys and within the Pentagon, and is able to, influence a few actors in certain ways. Are they influencing the heads of the U.A.P. task force? Are they the ones that compelled them to blame drones instead of calling out clear UAPs, or to have claimed that they had never even heard of the Admiral Wilson leak? I mean, that's just ridiculous. They were either clearly lying, or else they were deliberately misinformed or ignorant. I've heard some say that maybe they didn't allow themselves to have the briefing that would have given them that critical information because they didn't want to be forced before Congress to actually give that information. So who is managing that? Who is managing the dumbness of those guys? And by dumbness, I mean ignorance. Deliberate ignorance. Is that the breakaway group? Is that some other group? Do they just not want to get involved and they're just very reluctantly dragging their feet on this whole issue, and they would rather stay uninformed so they don't have to investigate this stuff? Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of various players and factions, and never attribute to malice what you can attribute to incompetence. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Please hit like, please subscribe. If you do subscribe, please hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. There's also social media links below. There's Twitter and Facebook. You can follow me there. That'd be awesome, trying to grow this platform. There's also a PayPal button below if you wanted to support the channel. Until next time, Cosmic Road out.